Hello and welcome to our GFN Thursday. We're going live this time and we have got a fair bit to talk about. We've got games coming, sales, and all that jazz. So sit back and relax as we go through it all. So here we are back with another GFN Thursday. Bad news. It is just me. Unfortunately, Barry is actually off on holiday. So we said you can go and have a bit of holiday there. So it will be just me doing this. So this is going to be an absolute disaster because, as you know, I am absolutely amazing at hitting all these buttons. There's too many things for me to hit here, and I will always mess things up. So we will knock this out here first. So first off, we'll just give you the headlines here. Basically, there's 36 games during GFN, and it's just absolutely mad that they just keep on knocking this out from the park, where they just keep on bringing the games. So not only that, there's 700 games on sale in the Steam sale, which you can actually play on GFN. Absolutely madness, that amount of games there. So we're going to touch on that shortly. We've got the 36 games, and there's 11 joining this week. The couple of standouts are, but we'll come to that. Most importantly, while you're here, go to the Epic Games Store and get the Spectrum Retreat and claim that because it is free at the moment. And joining in July, there is a couple of big names as well. And we have to just touch on June, what happened in June as well. And we have a wee conversation at the end because a couple of games did not come back. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick this off because I know everybody likes the games just to see what games they are. So here we go. We will hopefully hit the right button here just to give a rundown of all the games. So we'll come back to the game shortly, but there's a bit of a blast of that. If you want to see that in better quality, check out our YouTube channel. What we use here makes the quality not look so good, but it's actually on YouTube there, so you can check it out there. So Steam sale has started, and last Friday, myself, Barry, and Sammy chose some games in the Steam sale for less than £30, so it's about $40. It was our budget to see what we could do that. Me and Barry chose some games. Sammy chose quote unquote games. He had an absolute mare with that. But the Steam sale has started, and there is some cracking deals to have there. You could absolutely fill your GFN library full of some amazing games for £30-40, and you can use our examples, but we actually had to change that somewhat, because we could have just sat and just added games for £1, which was about $1.50, $2. There is just absolutely loads and loads of games there. GFN are giving us a wee example here of what games to actually pick up. And it's just mad, just the amount of games. Their library is just absolutely growing all the time, and 700 are on sale now. Absolutely madness. And just remember, we're going to be touching on the games coming as well. If you just check out any of these games joining in July, you can actually get them added into your library now, and if they're on sale, just to start building that up again. But again, we'll touch on that a tad later. But it's just hard to actually narrow down all these games which are on sale, which are part of GFN, because there's just so many now. But go have a look and have a bit of fun there, and join in for our challenge as well. See how many games you can actually pick up. So this week we are getting 11 games, and I think it's an okay sort of week. I don't think it's a great week. I don't think it's a poor week. It's just one of these normal sort of GFN weeks. And there's still some interesting games there. One game to actually go and pick up straight away here is the Spectrum Retreat, which I'll probably do live here. This is currently free on the Epic Game Store, and you can't beat a free game. So go pick that up. It's a very, very intriguing sort of game here, and I think I'm going to give it a go. And I think I was told last week PewDiePie was actually playing this on stream as well. So I think he was enjoying himself. So you can go pick this game up for free on the Epic Game Store. So work away on that. And I think I've said this before, when you actually go into the Epic Game Store and start claiming your free games, you actually start picking up an absolutely mountain of these games up, and it is just mad. I'll do my wee thing again where I can just show you the amount of games I have actually picked up, and so many of them are actually on there. It is just absolutely mad, the amount of games you can actually pick up on Epic for free, and so many of them are just part of GFN, and you can just build up your library every single week, and it just feels like eventually all of them do come to GFN. So this is just going back so much in time, and these games just keep on getting added all the time, and it's just so easy just to go and just add it add it on Epic. So as you can see, most of this is actually free games, which I have actually just picked up as weeks go on. Yep, work away. Ask all questions. Name me one game I would play for more than an hour. There's so many of these games I would play for more than an hour. It's just absolutely... Everybody's game taste is different. We'll probably touch some of these games as we go along. And I would play Surviving Mars for more than an hour. I would play Cube 2. I've completed that a couple of times. I've got Ukulele and The Impossible there. I have played that for more than an hour. I love the Darksiders franchise, and I have played both of them for over 10 hours, and they're all on GFN, and that was just from that bit here. So the games you can actually pick up on Epic is just mad, and just every week just go in and claim your free games, and eventually you'll have a absolutely massive sort of library, like that sort of thing. Just absolutely mad. So we'll move on to our next game. I am not sure about that one, Praxis, or I can't pronounce names. This is why I need Barry here to keep me right with my pronunciations of names. The next game is Eternal Return, and this is a MOBA. Again, this would not be a game for me, but I know this has got audience out there because there's a lot of people actually like mobile sort of games. And again, early access. I'm not a fan of early access, but it is another free-to-play game on GFN. For people who don't know, what we do here is we go through each of these games, and we usually do not go into any detail. If we don't know the game, we just go into it and just have a look. And what you get is our honest reactions straight away. For this game, again, I think people could jump into that, and it's another free-to-play game. So you've got no excuses not to give it a go if you don't want to. So just the amount of these games coming. Again, from the Steam sale, how about Superland? I know Barry actually picked that up on his one. He actually went and bought that after our wee play along and our wee adventure on Friday night, and he absolutely loves that game and he thoroughly recommends it. So if you haven't picked that one up there, go and give that a go, because it was a pretty cheap game. I think it was £5-6 mark, if I remember right. So it is actually not a bad one to pick up. Hi, you're the Tricks. How's it going? And we'll move on to our next one. So this is a lot easier. So it's a lot quicker this time when Barry's not here. So Barry does all the talking, not me. I think we've worked that out one. The next one is Castle Flipper. This is one of these called nearly day and date ones on GFN. And it's only came out on the 26th of May. It's on the Steam sale at the moment. There's 25% off. It has got mixed reviews there. And it is $10.86, or I would say about the $15 sort of mark there. So I'm not sure about this one. It actually doesn't look too bad in the trailer. I'll have to go now and see what the comments sort of say.
Rome was not built in a day. We will start modding.
Okay.
The dream big, huh? It is not all about brute force, though I must confess that destruction can be...
So you go around destroying everything under the sun. As you do.
In your line of work, you will need...
So why is this getting negative sort of reviews? Because it doesn't look that actually that bad.
Those interiors are not going to get furnished.
So let's scroll down. It has achievements.
In the details.
So,
speaking of the devil, I hope you're not scared to visit gloomy.
So it's a short game. That is the reason why. So if you get in the sale, I don't think it's going to be that long. But it says it's a short game here, but they've played it for 36.5 hours. So that's a bit weird. So just keep an eye on that. Between 2 and 6 hours. But it doesn't seem to be that. I think that's the biggest complaint, is it isn't actually that long. So at a sale price of a tenner, you could maybe justify that. So The next one we have here is Earth Defense Force Word Brothers. Another near day and date release, and it's a very positive reviews. And I have to say, when I was putting the wee trailer thing together I did earlier, again, I didn't go into it too much. I was just grabbing a couple of clips. This one actually appealed to me a bit because I didn't actually think it looked too bad. And here we go. I'm going to tell you now, I won't be buying this at £53. That would be the equivalent of about $70. I think that would be a wait for a sale for me. But it's got Steam achievements, full controller support, and Steam trading cards. So, yeah, I like the look of this one. I think I'll be maybe waiting for this for the winter sale because that's a bit pricey. And there seems to be a ton of DLC as well. There is 19 pieces of DLC. Nice. So looks like there will be lots of content in this game, but I think it's a bit pricey for me at this moment. But I think people are actually enjoying it. Okay, so as I do that, of course, it goes to not recommended. And yeah, wait for a sale. And we will move on. Cloudbusters. I'm going to say this about the GFN library. I think the GFN library is absolutely fantastic. Yes, there is the games which are missing, which we can't deny. There is games missing from the GFN library, but I've got so many games there, and what I want to play, never mind what I've already got in the Steam library. I just don't have the time to play them. And there's some absolutely cracking games there. And it's different courses for different horses and things like that. There is just so many games out there. You just can't keep up, because when me and Barry do this every Thursday, we're like this. We want this game, and there's usually one or two each week. We want at least one or two, if not more. And the library is just so vast. There's stuff for absolutely everybody. And I'm not just saying this just say, oh, because it's a GFN show. I am completely honest, and I'm probably too honest for my own good half the time. But I absolutely love the way GFN are actually bringing the games in. It's something we have all commented on over the last couple of months, especially, is the breadth of the games coming in. They're not just PC games, as I would say. We're going to be coming on to some PC games a wee bit later. There's games which would be like console games, and which you find on your Xboxes and your PlayStations. They're bringing in the absolute range of games, and I'm just absolutely glad to see it. And GFN, I think library is just absolutely outstanding, and the amount of games you can actually pick up for a couple of pounds or a couple of dollars is just unreal. And that's how you just build up your library. There's some absolutely hidden gems which get completely and utterly overlooked just because there's so many games. I'm telling you now, if you went through the GFN library, if you had every single one of them games, the 950 games in your library, I'm telling you now, you would be gaming nearly for the rest of your life, because there's just so many games out there, and they just keep on evolving, and more DLCs, and like Fortnite's there. Fortnite seems like it is never going to die. It just keeps on going. There's just so many games there, and the more games you have, the more choices, as Hell Monkey has said here. It is just absolutely class that there is just so many games coming, and games like this completely from left field for me. I have never played them games before. Moving on, and here you go. This would be more what I would count as PC game, Fishing Barents Sea. I know this has just been moved to consoles as well. Yeah, Hell Monkey. Yeah, you're just trying to get me in trouble. You're just here to cause trouble, so you are. Here we go, a fishing game, and we do know a lot of people want fishing games. And I know out there, people want these added to all sorts of games, like Sea of Thieves. People want to fishing and eventually put in. So here is a pure sort of a fishing game, and people seem to like it. It's mostly positive, and we've got about nearly 2,000 reviews. Again, this is on sale in the Steam sale at the moment. Hey, knock that in the head. You know, I can't talk right, and I have pronunciation issues here. So you can pick up this for £9, and it's got Steam trading cards. You always want your Steam trading cards because you can always sell them to get more games. So you can pick up. I'm not saying it. You're just trying to get me to say things wrong. And you can pick up this game with all the DLC for £14, so about $17, $18 mark. So that is pretty cool. And they've also got that game. I'm not sure if that's on yet. And we've got not recommended after 63 hours. Something we always love to see. These people who sit and put in the loads and loads of hours into these games and then said, nah, mate, I don't want it because it's rubbish. So he's got 63 hours worth into it. People seem to be putting a fair amount of time into it. So if you're wanting a fishing game of sorts, yeah, you could probably go get this one. Cory, Barry is away on holiday. Unfortunately, we had to met him out, and to go off on holiday. He'll be back. I think in 2 weeks we'll be back up running back as a duo again. But so you're just stuck with me. I know it's awful with me being here. And I haven't really done many of these by myself, or I'm just doing it single. So I'm just trying to get my feet sorted here. It's usually me and someone else. So that's why it's not as good. But don't be telling Barry I'm actually giving him a compliment, because we definitely don't want that sort of thing. And speaking of which, not tonight. Used to. I'm talking about the game, and it is a. Again, this is what we do. We do this, so we just come in and come completely and utterly blind into these. If you want to join, Cory, you're more than welcome to. What we're doing here is not tonight. Is this the Brexit game, Hell Monkey, you were talking about? Right, I'll send you the wee link here. Just give me 2 seconds here. I'll get this in pause here. But we have Not Tonight, and it is a this is the Brexit game. Again, why does it have to be Brexit? Why does it have to be breakfast? Breakfast? Brexit. It is just absolutely mad that there is a Brexit game. I do not want to go down that rabbit hole, because that is just scary, so it is. And there we go. I just said that there, just in case. Political games, I have absolutely no problem with political games. I would not play it because I play games to escape from political sort of stuff. And for me personally, this would not be a game for me. I just do not want to. I try and escape things. Gaming is my escape. And with that, I would basically want to just go for I don't want to be hearing about Brexit. I hear too much of during my day-to-day job and through the news, so not a game for me. But I think people seem to like it. What we've got here is the original soundtrack. Oh, and we have a special guest joining, and it is Cory. Hi.
See how much trouble I'm going to get into for this. Hey, how's it going?
I am doing awesome. What about you?
Well, I had to go put on real pants instead of sweatpants. So,
if it makes you feel any better, I'm in my running shorts at this moment in time.
It does make me feel a little better, yes. I try to tune in most weeks because I love what you guys are doing. Saw you were on your own today. Definitely not here to I'm in the capacity of speaking for GeForce, NVIDIA GeForce Now, but also just you're talking about games, and I love talking about games. And I loved last week's show when you guys were talking about how to spend, I think it was 30 pounds or 50 pounds, the best way possible on GeForce Now, on the Steam sale for GeForce Now. So I just wanted to jump in and chat with you for a little bit.
Oh, that's
hope you don't mind me cramping your style.
Absolutely not. This is what we love doing. We just love talking about games, and hopefully it does come across because we are all gamers here, and we just love talking about things. What's your?
It's also tough to do a solo stream.
It is.
I feel for you. So, for those who don't know me, I don't know if anybody even cares or not. My name's Cory Banks. I'm the community manager for NVIDIA GeForce Now here in sunny California. And I've been a big fan of Cloudy for quite a bit now, and super happy. I hope everybody doesn't mind me kind of jumping in and just crashing in. So, and sorry, my room is so echoey.
Don't be worried. I would love to have you back with Barry here as well, because Barry wants to would love to have a talk with you as well.
Sure.
What's your favorite game of this week?
Oh, let me pull up the list again.
Well, I'll bring the list across here.
I wrote this thing, but can't even remember it. We add so many games that I can't keep them straight anymore. I'm always a fan of the free games that we get to add from the Epic Game Store. So Spectrum Retreat is something that I want to check out for sure. I think you talked a little bit about Eternal Return already. I think that's going to be pretty cool. From this list, I actually kind of want to dig into Ziggurat 2. I played the original Ziggurat back in the day, and I personally, I'm kind of a fan of following the development of early access games, and so I think Ziggurat 2 would be really cool to check out. But in fairness, I haven't played it yet. I think I mentioned it in chat. I've been my Steam sale purchase is Supraland, which is a game we released a few weeks back. Oh, I don't hear you now.
Yes, you have to get used to me. I always put myself on mute because I'm always paranoid that you can hear something in the background because we've got birds and everything going off here.
Oh, so I didn't even shut my window. Hang on.
No, don't be worried. I'm going to tell you something funny. The people who make Ziggurat 2, they have got a game which is one of my guilty pleasure games, which people are going to laugh at. If I've had a bad day and I want a game just to chill out to, and without thinking, Farm Together. And that is on GeForce Now as well. It's a game where you're just going about building your farm up. It's not as like a farming simulator. This is completely, if you remember, like Farmville on Facebook, but it's just more.
I love the art style. I just pulled it up and I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, it's completely and utterly different. It's a game where you can just chill out, and me and my partner play that as well together. It is a perfect game to play sort of in co-op as well. It's just a complete and utterly. It's a game you can just switch off your brain if you've had one of them days. But Ziggurat 2, the Total Biscuit, I know, love the original Ziggurat. I think I do have my eye on that one. But the game,
I'm a roguelike guy, if I'm really honest. Okay, so putting on my gamer hat, not my whatever community manager, spokesperson, marketing shill hat, right? I love roguelites. Huge fan. I ever since I first really played, someone way back in the day tried to get me to play the original Rogue or like NetHack, and I didn't get them then. But it was something like Dark Souls that really made me understand what it was like to progress and then fail and then learn from that failure and keep going, right? Or not Inside. What's the other game? What's the first game those guys made? Anyway,
Limbo.
Yeah, Limbo. Limbo's a perfect example, although it's not really a roguelike. The idea of like failure as actual progression is really important. Or even like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. So that's the element that I really dig about roguelike games. And Ziggurat is a great example of that as a fast-paced first-person shooter. And then the art style really, like, I like a nice, colorful art style in a game like this. I don't need everything to be photorealistic all the time, and I certainly don't want everything to be drab. So what Ziggurat and Ziggurat 2 do really well, in my opinion, is give you that kind of really interesting environment to explore and the kind of gameplay mechanics that I gravitate to.
Yeah, I take it you've already, obviously you know about the games coming. You've seen the list of
some. I mean, I've looked into some of them. We put out a lot of games. I'm not going to be familiar with every single game. The beautiful thing about PC gaming is that there are just so many freaking games. But I mean, I don't have a life, so I spend most of my time thinking about these games. And I can definitely, there's some picks on the monthly list. I don't want to jump your format here, but I definitely have things to say about the monthly games.
Yeah, I was going down to the monthly games. I take it you know which one I was going to go to there. It's the one which looks a bit like Slay the Spire with some RPG sort of like what. Because I'm not sure if you've seen the wee trailer I did earlier, where I've put out I
just jumped in when you were showing the trailer.
Yeah, it's where is it now? I've lost it.
I'm looking for it.
You know what game I'm talking about? I
gotta find it.
Is it this one?
Again, like you'd think I would know, but
I think it's this game here.
Oops. Tainted Grail Conquest. I know a very little bit about. You probably know this, Duncan, because I won't shut up in our conversations about it. But I'm a huge Slay the Spire fan, and so I'm into any sort of deck builder game that plays around with these mechanics. I think Tainted Grail is really interesting, although it might be a little grimdark at first. So I'm actually kind of curious to see how that visual style is then represented in some of the mechanics. But I love a game like this. You bring all the best elements of like board games and collectible card games, you put them into a PC game so you don't have to keep track of everything manually, and then you just start experimenting with the different decks that you're building. Like that's a Saturday evening for me, man. That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, I absolutely love Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is probably my favorite game over the last 2 or 3 years. It is right up there. I have sunk in, I would say, well over $1,000 on it. So
it's fantastic. I have friends who've built spreadsheets for like combining like the perfect decks depending on whatever they bring up. And any game that adds, like, I think we added let me just double check this before I say this publicly in a format that's being recorded.
Yeah, you just take your time here. I know you weren't even
I talk about 90 miles an hour. Apologies for that.
No, I know you I know what you're like, because you weren't expected to come on
back in my podcasting days. It was all about having as much time on the mic as possible.
Was it Monster Train by any chance?
Monster Train's a great example of taking a deck builder and even expanding on it, because I feel like Monster Train brings in some of the best elements of like Magic the Gathering and kind of playing the board as a really cool mechanic compared to Slay the Spire, which is just all about playing the cards. So it's almost like Slay the Spire is like a better version of Dominion, whereas Monster Train's a better version of like Magic the Gathering without having to rebuy everything. I'm checking to see. I cannot remember if Griftlands is a game we added. I feel like it is.
There's just again,
Griftlands is phenomenal. I don't even mind saying that. There it is.
I take it you know what I'm like. I just say it how I see it, and I don't mean to upset people.
That too, but I get in trouble when I do it, Duncan. So.
Yeah.
Griftlands from Clay Entertainment. This game's really good. It's probably not quite as Complex's Slay the Spire, right? I think this is actually a more approachable deck builder game to get into. And again, it's a tremendous art style. Everything Clay makes has like personality. And that's actually my favorite thing about their entire catalog, right?
Yeah. What I was going to say, this isn't just because you're here. I would say things positive and negative. I try and do it down the middle. I think you guys this year have been absolutely phenomenal in just bringing these games. It's just so hard to keep up with, because you're just bringing game after game after game after
it's
game.
Wild. We're approaching 1,000 games on GeForce Now, which is that's a big moment for us. We're really proud of that. That means that there's 1,000 games from developers who have opted into GeForce Now, that they've said, yes, we get this. We want our games to be playable by our gamers, our customers, our GeForce Now members across all their devices. And that's exactly what we're into, right? PC gaming it should be, removing the limits of games. And that means that I want to be able to play like some real crunchy RPG or like a Cyberpunk 2077 with RTX on a phone, right? Or on a Mac. The amount of games I can play on a Mac now is crazy. Anyway, I'm shilling. I don't mean to shill. I think we should go back to talking about games. Yeah, but it's been a really exciting year.
It has been a really exciting year. I think GFN have just been phenomenal this year. Just the amount of games, and you've been picking up some of the real big gets in the PC market, like Valheim. You picked up that nice, and
isn't that game tremendous?
Yeah, and you also got the Dyson Sphere Factory as well. When that was like blowing up, you've been picking up the real indie games, which just before that actually exploded, and it is just absolutely class to see. We'll go back to the games. Where was I? I think it's.
I don't know.
I think it was Opus Magnum I was on next.
Oh yeah, you're going through the weekly games. Yeah, let's look at Opus Magnum.
Opus Magnum. This is a game for me. This is a pure and utter puzzle sort of game. Bit of programming. Would this be something up your alley? And again, this is on sale at this moment in time as well.
What game isn't on sale right now is really the question.
I know, it's just there's just so many on sale.
I do like a puzzle game like this. Like, not every game, in my opinion, has to be something that you sink 300, 400 hours into, right? Sometimes you just want something that's going to tease your brain. And I think puzzle games are something that are, they don't really get the credit that they're due, in my opinion, especially games from like Zachtronics. This is a developer that makes really fascinating independent puzzle games. I think it's a really small team. They put out, what's it called? They did like their own version of Solitaire that became a thing last year, and I think it was almost like a web client or something like that. That was really, really good. So Zachtronics is definitely a great puzzle game developer to check out. I haven't played Opus Magnum, but I would definitely play it.
Yeah, I know this. I've heard about this game before, and I know people absolutely love it, as we can see with the reviews here as well. It's like, if you're looking for a big, massive puzzle game, I think this is definitely one you should be checking out there. Okay. I'm not sure how long you've got, so I'm going to be as quick as I can.
No, don't be quick. You're fine. I'm here. I'm hanging out.
You're hanging out. You just say you're just hanging out and chilling.
If you're cool with me hanging out, showing up on your show, then don't rush through this. Go through it.
No worries. We're happy to have you anytime you want to come on. Next one is Slipways. We're getting this in the two forms. We're getting it this week on Steam, and I'm just putting this out here. A couple of weeks, by the end of July, we will have this on the Epic Game Store as well. It's another strategy game. This is a pure PC sort of game, strategy turn-based game, and it is £14. So I would say about the $17-18 sort of mark. Is this up your alley?
I like strategy games. I don't know a lot about Slipaways, but I am definitely into the kind of 4X strategy game that Slipways is taking elements of, right? My read on Slipways from the little bit that I know about it is that it's trying to take a lot of those mechanics and make them more approachable, right? And I'm super into that. Space grand strategy is a fantastic genre, and anything that brings you into that genre is a win to me. So I would definitely check it out.
Yeah,
who doesn't want to conquer planets?
Yeah, who doesn't want to take over the whole universe? Never mind just taking over the planet. You want to take over the whole universe. So yeah, this is I'm not logged in, so I can't add it to my wish list. But yeah, I think I will be checking this out at some stage.
Do you play a lot of 4X games?
I do. I wouldn't say a lot of them because there's just so many games going about now. It's I do like a bit of 4X. Obviously, you have to go with the big one in Civilization there. But I'm liking the look of Humankind as well, which is coming soon as well. It's I do like the Earth, them sort of ones. I do want to get more into the space ones as well, some of the Paradox sort of games as well. That is
so you mentioned Humankind, and that's Amplitude Studios, and they make what is one of my favorite space 4X games, which is the Endless Space series. And if you're looking for a space focused strategy, like grand strategy 4X game, Endless Space 2 is tremendous. They made a fantasy version called Endless Legend, which was, I think, everyone's like strategy game of the year a few years ago. And that, I mean, I've lost hours to that game. So to see Amplitude continue that on and decide to go full Civilization with Humankind, I think is really good. I didn't get to check out the closed beta while it was out, unfortunately, but I'm really looking forward to that release later this year. And I think I'm going to check it on my end. I'll bet Endless Space 2 is on the Steam sale right now too.
Yep. The only thing I would say about Humankind, I think they need a slightly better tutorial in the beginning, because I think it's a bit confusing for some people out there. So I think they need to probably work on that. But I think they've got that feedback anyway, and they are going to probably work on that.
That's the point of a closed beta, right? And if you figure your main audience when you're building a game like that, like your version of a Civilization game, is people who are already familiar with Civ, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of speak to them first, and then as you continue working on the game, you can smooth over that tutorial, that onboarding process. I have a lot of excitement for that game. I think I'm ready for a new take on that genre.
Yep, I'm interested in it as well. And Civilization needs some big competition to really go on their turf, just to shake things up and hopefully get that going as well. It's just because competition breeds makes everybody go better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hell Monkey in the chat there. He loves Humankind, as we can see. Yapping about no tutorial. Yeah, but that doesn't surprise me of Hell Monkey, to be absolutely fair.
What's next on the list?
Then what's next on the list is I have clicked on the wrong window.
Says the guy who should know what's next on the list, but still.
It is Soul Worker. See, this is the thing. A couple of these games over the last couple of weeks, I've had to be very, very careful bringing them up, because you're for reasons. I think this is another one. This is another free-to-play game. You must be bound to be coming up to your 100 free-to-play games now. We're probably
coming
not
pretty close. Yeah. I mean, I think if officially we say it's more than 80. I don't know the full count off the top of my head, but it's a lot of free-to-play games. And you're seeing more and more of these, right? Because it's the people want to make it as accessible to get into a game as possible. So we're really excited to bring more free-to-play games on for people to just jump in and try.
Yeah, and we're getting close to. We're definitely getting into we're well into the 90s now. I think we're going to be. That's going to be your next big announcement. Is you're going to have 100 free to play games on the platform. This is free-to-play action RPG. I think it looks... It's not my cup of tea, but I know that other people like these sort of things. It's an action anime one, and you could just jump in it today and just get playing on it.
Yep, a lot of frenetic action in this one.
Yeah, as it's
I'm gonna need another cup of coffee before I could jump in.
It's just a bit mad. Yeah, do you love these reviews as well? The 240 hours or 230 hours. We don't like the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a product of like Steam user reviews in a lot of ways, right? I think I personally tend to read all reviews like this, positive and negative, with a grain of salt, and I take a lot of the feedback of what people are saying to try to make my own decision. Yeah, I don't know. This is. I mean, the most negative review I'm seeing here is mobile game no boobs.
Yeah,
I don't know how to help. Cry. Sorry, cry. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's just a bit mad. It's one of them games I think you're either play for 2 minutes or you'll stick the hours in. There's 459 hours on it. Yeah. So it's one of them sort of games, and as it's a free-to-play game, there's going to be lots of microtransactions in it. So
maybe I don't know.
I'd seen lots of in-app purchases there. Now on to they've actually done a live one here. We'll just bug onto the trailer here anyway. This is another day, this is what I call the near day and date release. It was released in May. Pure PC game, tactics war game, and just as you expect here.
I mean, so click on the fourth screen, like skip the videos for a second and click on that fourth screenshot.
Yep.
This does things for me personally. As a PC gamer, I see hexagons, I hear tactics, and I know that I'm going to have tanks and planes. That's enough to give your game a shot, honestly. I am definitely that kind of like hexagon strategy gamer. I'm no good at them. I'm not going to claim I'm any good at them, but that's something that I get into.
Yeah, it's a pure PC game. Again, it's one of them games. I wish there was a clone of me or about 10 clones of me, but I know people wouldn't want that, just to play all these games, because there's just so many games I want to dip my toe into, but I just don't have enough time. Even with playing on the go and everything, there's just so many games. It's just mad. Again.
Surprise. I've said this a lot of other places, but we're in kind of a golden age of gaming, especially in PC gaming. And I've seen some comments in chat that we're talking about how, like, none of these games are any good, blah, blah, blah. But the point is that we have the choices. We have the availability of games. Developers can go and actually like put their spin on a genre that they were never able to do before. I think that's tremendous in the PC gaming industry, that they have that kind of access to get their games out there. And if that means that they want to easily opt into GeForce Now to make those games available from the cloud too, even better. That's kind of the whole point. That does make it tricky for an actual gamer. Who's the dude? Who's the dude I was trying to respond to when I accidentally responded to you? Cloudbusters is an example of like, he has a very specific, he has specific games he wants to play. They, sorry, should not gender you, but wants to find those games in the middle of everything else. And the truth is that within the gaming industry, there's a lot of games that are calling for your attention. It's tough to recommend to each specific person what they should play, but we can definitely make as many of those options available. And that's kind of what we want to do. That's my favorite thing about PC gaming, is just having those options.
Yeah, this is something we've been touching on for months now. So how you harping back to what I have been saying is the variety of games you're bringing now is outstanding. It is not just like games like this, which are 100% PC games. You're bringing the other sort of games as well, which is I know my partner is not a PC gamer. She's more console, but she is playing on GFN a fair bit now. She was a founder. She got in just before that changed, and what she's loving doing. She is just loving playing on GFN, playing Fortnite on her Mac. And that is what she is just doing. And having these options is just...
Is the thought there that like Fortnite's not a PC game?
It's more from the era she's coming from. She's more like an Xbox gamer. That's all she played on, and she
wants to sit on a couch. She wants to use a controller. I mean, the argument I'd make to that is that PC gaming has been taking over the couch and the controller for a long time too. Before I was lucky enough to be here, I was managing editor of PC Gamer, right? And we were super excited when Valve was talking about making a controller so that it was easier to play games on PC. Or
what did you think of the Steam controller?
What's that?
What did you think of the Steam controller? I got mine.
Hang on.
Oh, here comes the Steam controller, everybody. I got mine. I wasn't a big fan, but don't be saying nothing.
Oh, buddy.
Yep,
see this?
Still got it.
Oh, still have it. Still use it half the time.
Yeah.
I think we're getting way off topic now, but like it is so hard to innovate in the controller space, which is about the most San Francisco thing I think I've ever said. But it's hard to make a controller that's new and interesting and exciting. And you got to give props to Valve for trying it. This thing is bonkers. And what it means is that it again, it comes back to that PC gaming ethos where the hardest thing about using this controller is how configurable it is, right? And that means that it's not going to be as easily as usable as like an Xbox One controller or an Xbox Series S controller, which I got here, right? But it does so many things differently, and you got to appreciate the excitement that they had for coming up with a control scheme that could work on a couch on a TV, but still translate to PC. Like that's the amount of effort there is absolutely bonkers. You could say the same thing with like the way. First off, I love the Xbox controllers. I think they're incredibly comfortable. You could say that there's some really cool things that are happening with like the DualShock controllers with the way that they're handling. Yeah, the way that they're handling triggers. I don't have one yet, but I want one. And then I think the next cool thing that you're going to see in controllers, if I'm just really babbling here, I'm so sorry for just jumping and taking everything over.
This is happening. You watch us, you know, we just go off on all these tangents all the time.
What's even really cool is how you're taking everything that we've learned about controllers and not just bringing it into PC, because it's like being able to switch between keyboard and mouse and controller instantaneously in most PC games is tremendous, is a mind blower to me. But also then taking that sort of taking everything we've learned there and bringing it into controllers for mobile, right? So think about what the Razer Kishi does, just turning your iPhone or your Android device into an actual capable like game controller. And then look at like the backbone and how that works with GeForce now. It takes your iPhone and basically makes it feel like a Nintendo Switch. How awesome is that?
I absolutely love my Kishi. And again, going back to my partner Kelly, she was actually playing on the Kishi today. She loves it as well. It just, like you said, that's what my opinion of it was. When you actually plugged it in, it just made it feel like a Switch. I do want to try out the backbone as well, because just to see what the differences are between them. They're probably just basically the same, more or less.
I mean, the feel's a little different. In my opinion, the Kishi is about being able to like take this thing with you wherever it goes. Because I have another one in here somewhere. It folds up really small, right? So it's very much about portability and getting you that kind of gaming experience as quickly as possible. The backbone feels really good, but it's iOS only, so it's only on iPhones. It wants a little bit of a deeper integration into iOS. So it has some features that you can use, like automatic capture through the phone and things like that. And it isn't as portable. It's like, it's got this bar in the middle that like it slides out. So it feels really solid when it's on, but it's not quite as quickly to like pick up and go with like a Kishi is. I love them both. I play with the Backbone a little bit more depending on the games that I'm playing, mostly on GeForce Now. But again, having those options is really, really important. I think a lot of times we're constantly optimizing for like what's the best, like what's the one thing everybody can get, what's the one game everybody should play. I'm of the opposite mind. I think it should be about options. I think it should be about removing barriers.
Yeah, more options the better. Well, since we've had our big Dave, going on slightly off topic.
I'm so sorry.
no, I do it all the time anyway. So we'll move into the game we've actually just touched on as well, which is Cigarette 2. This is an early access game. Again, we've got a big sale price with 10% off here. So you've already
pretty standard for early access games.
Yeah, you've talked about this. It does look like a cool wee game, and it is a roguelike as well. I love roguelikes. We're talking about Slay the Spire. There's just so much. You can just go back into them, and it's always different. And
first-person roguelites are even cooler. Like, because the first thing I'm old, right? The first thing this makes me think of is like Heretic and Hexen, which are two of the Doom clone games that came out in the 90s that I love desperately, and taking that sort of like fantasy vibe and putting it into these modern roguelike mechanics. This is one I'm definitely picking up.
Yeah, it's I think I've got Cigarette, the original one, or the first one in my library somewhere as well. But yeah, since you like the Hexen and Heretic, I take it you've seen the one we'll probably come on to shortly here, which is coming later in the month. It definitely goes completely another the old school. If I just thrown you here, I've sort of thrown you.
I'm looking through the list to figure out which game it is. Is it Graven?
It's Graven, yes.
Yeah.
We'll go to this thing, or here's it here, and
yeah, Graven's interesting. This was part of first off, it's published by 3D Realms, which if you're an old school PC gamer that played Duke Nukem 3D, you know 3D Realms. But this was actually one of the demos we had last December when we were doing kind of the Steam, the Game Awards demo event. We got a bunch of demos of some of these upcoming games on GeForce Now for people to play, and Craven was one of my favorites.
Yeah, another one like that is a medieval. What I think you've said that, haven't you? Just to pitch under the spot.
Yeah, I was responding to chat too. Too much coffee this morning. Yeah, I love a medieval, which you can now play on GeForce Now with RTX on too.
Yeah.
I also love Dusk. Dusk is another great example. I don't know if that's on GeForce now that I'm thinking about it. It is on GeForce Now. Look at that.
Yeah, I think what's the name of that publisher? I know Cloudy Ben is a big fan of that. The people who make them games, I think there's a couple of them on it. But yeah, just going completely another the old school. It just pulls at the nostalgia there. It's just.
And it not only pulls at the nostalgia, but it also shows you how to like sometimes take modern design techniques and apply them to those games that I loved as a kid, right? Medieval is like using a lot of like modern rendering and level design techniques and applying that to the aesthetic of Hexen. Dusk does the same thing for like Blood, which was another 3D Realms game back in the day. I don't want us to always be focused on nostalgia in the industry, but I love putting a spin on those, like a modern spin on those kinds of games. That totally appeals to me.
Yeah, I absolutely love Blood back in the day, and showing my age as well. I'm a wee bit older than I look as well, because people say I'm well into my 40s now, which is really, really depressing and such like. And I remember playing all them games and then forking out for your foodie cards and all that stuff, going really, really old school. I'm playing the first Unreal. I could go back and talk about that all.
The kids these days, they couldn't play all their 3D PC games on their phone.
No,
they couldn't. If they were on a Mac, they were stuck on their Mac. All they could do was paint. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Now they can play whatever game they want.
See, that's what I'm on here at the moment. I'm on my Mac here, and that's how I go play on GFN. Yes, Andy, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. Uh, Normally, when we go through the monthly games, which I'm actually really glad that you've moved it into a monthly sort of schedule, so you can sort of plan. What games tickle your fancy here? And there's a couple of games for me, but I'll let you go first.
Sure. So the easiest answer for me is probably Orcs Must Die 3. I don't know if you've ever played the Orcs Must Die series, but I love everything Robot Entertainment does. Robot even made a strategy game back in the day, I think called Hero Academy or Hero University or something like that I loved. But Orcs Must Die, if you haven't played it, is kind of a tower defense action hybrid, right? You're putting up your defenses, traps, guards, archers, that sort of thing, and then orcs come swarming in waves and try to get to like your little nexus area, and you can play with friends and run around and stop those orcs from actually getting it. The Orcs Must Die. It's not just a clever name. Orcs Must Die 2 is so good. So I'm a huge fan of the series. And now Orcs Must Die 3 is coming to PC. And so we're really excited to bring it to GeForce Now as well.
I'm just going to talk about Orcs Must Die. Orcs Must Die and Robot Entertainment have been with cloud gaming from its, I'm going to say its inception, really, from on live, because I played both Orcs Must Die and I'm pretty sure Orcs Must Die 2 on live. That's a bit of a mouthful. So it got me on live one in there. Obviously, Orcs Must Die 3 has been on another cloud gaming service. I don't want to go to with you being on here.
You can say it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's been on Stadia. I absolutely loved that. It was an absolutely amazing game, and it's brilliant. It's going to GFN as well because more people should actually experience it. It adds so much, and the battles, the big massive battle scenes are brilliant. My favorite part of the game. But Orcs Must Die is
the ingenuity of the traps.
Yeah,
like. Just some of them are so delightful to use. I'm basing most of my experience on Orcs Must Die 2, which I played a bunch co-op with friends, but like just the ridiculousness of some of them and how you can set them up and have really interesting like corridors where you're kind of bringing all the orcs through and things like that is a delight.
Yeah. Orcs Must Die, and if you haven't played that, it is a must pick up. Go get that. It is absolutely phenomenal, and I think when you get to the some of the scenes, you're going to go, this is absolutely amazing. I was on record as saying this, so I'm going to have to unfortunately follow through with this one. The game for me which sticks out is Evil Genius 2 World Domination. I had said if that was coming to GFN, I was going to buy it, so I am going to have to buy
it's really good if it helps.
Yes,
it's really I've already played a bunch of it, and it's super. So I loved the original Evil Genius, which we're also bringing, and holds up really well, because I again, as an old gamer, I really loved Dungeon Keeper. I love the idea of being the bad guy and building the base, right? So Evil Genius was the James Bond kind of Machiavellian villain spin on that, and Evil Genius 2 was a long time coming. Don't pay attention to these reviews on Steam, frankly. I think they're missing the point because this game is really good. I could sit for hours and build out my perfect base and train up all my minions and laugh every time like my actual Evil Genius is like talking down to all of his like guards and stuff like that. And then the moment you start getting infiltrated, when the James Bond like heroes start coming in, I can't remember what they're called, Forces of Justice or something like that. That's when things get really real. That's when you're actually paying attention to all the traps that you've laid and reacting to things in real time. That's a blast.
Yeah, I did say, so I'm going to have to follow through with it, and it's on sale at the moment as well. This is something I'm going to say to people here. Go check out what games are coming so you can get them added into your wish list or buy them while they're on sale. Just get prepped. Basically for coming. So
there was something when you were talking about the Steam sale earlier in the show. I don't know that it's come through, but like we did actually add a section of the GeForce Now app it's one of the rows for Steam Summer Sale. If you scroll down a little bit in the app and you hit see more, 751 games listed here that are currently on sale.
I'll try and get this up in 1 wee second. The app that is.
It's a lot to go through, right? But it does help you kind of like shop with confidence if you're looking for something on GFN.
Yeah, it's just so many games.
It's so many games. Imagine like trying to keep track of all of them. It's tricky, but that's the point. It's one of the fun bits of the job is being able to see so many really good games and figure out ways of talking about them.
Yeah, I'm just getting this loaded in now because I've been playing a bit more my Shield at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So it is. Again, Shield's absolutely amazing. Oh, let me see. Hopefully this will work. And then you will see that I'm on a Mac here. So this is why sometimes when I'm doing the show, it comes up with this isn't going to work on your computer. GeForce now.
Hey, like, I'll show you.
So I have 750 games.
This is we added this row for the Steam Summer Sale, and in hopes that it helps people kind of find the games a little easier. It's a lot, and this happens three times a year from Valve, that they'll put they'll work with our partners to put huge portions of their catalog on sale. We're really excited that so many of these games also want to stream from the cloud.
The summer sale, the winter sale, and are you counting the Halloween sort
Sometimes
of sale?
Sometimes they do a fall sale or a Halloween sale. I've seen spring sales in the past. They always kind of pop up. They're just like, you know what? Now it's time. And like there's a whole cottage industry of people trying to like predict when the Steam Summer Sales are going to happen. But they happen for 2 weeks, so you got plenty of time to make decisions. Yeah. Caves of Cud. Oh my God, you just scrolled past Caves of Cud, one of my favorite roguelikes. Like that is an intense game to jump into, but I absolutely love it.
Up there we go there. Yeah, again, just going through this here, the amount of variety of games here. You've got your PC games, you've got your more console-like games, you've got the whole range, and there's 750 of them. Yeah. It is just
you keep differentiating between PC games and other games, and I don't.
You don't understand that?
I do understand it. I just don't see the difference anymore. I feel like the biggest innovation that happened in PC gaming was everyone suddenly stopping this idea of like saying this is a PC game. Like you can only play computer role-playing games with crunchy mechanics on PC. And now it's become like the PC is the easiest platform for everybody to bring their games to. So every game is a PC game now.
Yeah, the reason why I say that probably more on this show than any else, because there is that impression out there that GFN is for just PC games, and it is the calculating games, the tactical games, and the strategy game, all that, and it's something which I know me and Barry are trying to get out there. GFN is for every type of gamer out there, because if you just want to play games in the cloud, there is just so many games on here, and the games just keep on getting added. And just look at the chat here. People have just realized, oh my goodness, this game is on GFN. Yeah. It's just this is.
It's tremendous. I think the most difficult thing about trying to be a PC gamer anymore is just figuring out where to jump in, because there are so many games, and we try to curate that to some degree within the app, and having this section for the Steam sale games is designed to make it easier for people to find what's actually on sale during this clearly special event. There are so many games, it can be really hard to figure out where to jump in. So we try to make it a little bit easier. But I think the new gate for being a PC gamer isn't really how powerful your PC is, or did you build your own PC? It's, do you even know what game you could start playing?
Yeah, and again, something I've been yapping on about as well. The Epic free games.
Sammy, DCL. Oh my God. Okay, I'm trying to focus on you, Duncan, and then Sammy comes in to talk about DCL, and I watched last week, and
Yes.
I tried to defend him for a little bit. I think DCL is an interesting game, but I really just wanted to jump in with how you guys were razzing him.
Did you actually see what he picked at the? What did he pick at the end? Oh, it was really bad at the end. It's a game you said he shouldn't. You're going to tell me it was, what game was it? It was the other one of them sort of ones. He picked another full on strange game, we will call it. Sammy, what was the name of the game again?
You got to have the respect for pulling the oddball games out, because like everybody could go with like every game that you've already known, but a Steam sale at the end of the day should be about the hidden gems, right?
Yeah. I know what it was. It was PC building simulator. Yes, he actually added that as well.
Okay, that might have been my fault. I actually at one point had suggested that. I think that's pretty meta to use GeForce Now on like your low end gaming machine to play a game to help you design the high end gaming machine of your dreams. That's like some Inception shit going on. Like, spin the top and see if you're still dreaming.
That's exactly, maybe not in them terms, but that's exactly what that's what he came off with, because he was wanting to build a PC in the cloud. See, and he just said that exactly what he said there.
Cory picks that game out.
Yeah,
I feel it, Sammy. I'm with you. Know what? Yes, I'm with you, Sammy. I get it. I think DCL as a drone game is a really interesting simulation too. But I couldn't help but just laugh as everybody was teasing you about it. I want to go back to something else too. Cloudbusters here says that cloud gaming is for hardcore gamer, not the noob, and I fundamentally disagree. Cloud gaming is for everyone. It's about access. It's about accessibility. If you're looking for hardcore games in the cloud, then certainly we can help you pick out a few options, because there are some pretty hardcore games on this list alone. But I don't want anybody to gatekeep. Cloud gaming is specifically designed to make sure that everybody can be the kind of PC gamer that they should be.
Oh, yep. Everybody makes fun of me. I think the selection here, I'm just stopped here, and this is just purely by coincidence. So yeah. You've got Ukulele there, a couple of good wee games to dip your toe into there, and there's just such a selection here.
Look at what you got. You've got Rust, which is one of the hardest of the hardcore survival games, right? You've got Valheim, which is way more approachable and tons of fun with people. You're on Tomb Raider right now, which I think Sammy picked this one too, and this is probably my favorite Tomb Raider game.
I'm more Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Like, well, not to derail us again, but like, what was your favorite bit of Rise of the Tomb Raider?
I just like the whole thing. I just think it was just what they did right on Tomb Raider. That one, they just shined it up a bit more, and they just perfected it. Then I think that in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I just think they just went too far into the story and not enough action, and just slowed it down a bit. Well, I think Rise of the Tomb Raider was just the perfect blend of both the game and the story as well. I really get it.
I probably have a little bit of rose-colored glasses with the original Tomb Raider. What is that, 2013 or so? Because it was such a brilliant way of revisiting that franchise. Like I'm guessing you, like me, played a lot of Tomb Raider back in the day when it was all polygonal and was one of the first like 3D accelerated games.
My just to interrupt you there. Sorry, my guilty thing there is I didn't get into Tomb Raider until Tomb Raider Legend. I missed the original ones because I thought they weren't going to be a game for me, and then I played the series, which basically gets forgotten about, the trilogy, which everybody thinks it just goes from the polygons to the new Tomb Raider. To forget about the one in the middle, and that's what actually got me into the Tomb Raider games. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I mean, the way that they even iterated on the kind of the exploration elements in the game for so long was really cool. But like the original Tomb Raider, which is like 98 or 99? Like, I think that might have been my brother. I have an older brother, and he bought a Voodoo 3D accelerator card specifically for that game. So I think that was my first taste of like actual 3D accelerated graphics. because I was playing Quake on like software renderer like a chump. But I love that franchise. I loved Tomb Raider Anniversary when that came out like 10 or 15 years ago or so. So to see what they did with rebooting this franchise and giving it a little bit more of like an Uncharted feel, I just really, really appreciated what they did in Tomb Raider. And as much as I wanted to get into the successive games, they didn't grab me the same way. Again, it's probably a lot of rose-colored glasses. So a lot of respect for you saying Rise is where it's at.
Yeah. No, and here's the thing, and it's games, everybody has their own opinions, and this is what we were talking about that with Evil Genius 2 there. You said it's an absolutely amazing game. Well, the Steam reviews are going, it's mixed.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna have opinions. Those are
Exactly.
the beautiful bit about this community is that you don't have to agree, but you all have things to talk about, right? The best bit about you letting me jump in here is that you and I just nerding about our different experiences with games.
Exactly.
And
just
you got me out of meetings.
Oh, that's even better. I've been stuck in a load of meetings today, so this is absolutely joy to me. This is my relaxing after. And this is what I love about gaming as well, is you're way over there in the States, sir, and I'm over here in the UK, and we're just sitting here talking about our different experiences.
Yeah.
And going back to Tomb Raider, you're going to laugh about what I remember about Tomb Raider growing up isn't actually the game, or I do remember the game. It is actually Lara Croft was synonymous with Lucozade, which is a sports drink. That's what she was on.
Really?
Yes, she was completely.
Wow.
Lucozade would be like Powerade,
Yeah.
sort of in and around that sort of thing, and that's what I just remember about Lara Croft, is her and Lucozade. I just thought that was really, really mad, because that was like one of the first things I can remember of gaming coming into like the mainstream when in day-to-day life. It used to be. I know a lot of people just think it's just nerds in your caves just playing games, but that was for me, was just creeping into the wide mainstream marketing. Yeah. Again, there's just so many games here.
It's a lot of games. I have to drop in like 10 minutes or so. Unfortunately,
but
I will say to go back to the monthly list that you were talking through. There's probably one more game that I personally would call out here. I think there's a bunch of really good games that we're adding this month. I think Starbase is really interesting. I think Swords of Legend Online is really interesting if you're looking for a new MMO to get into. But I personally, as a gamer, I would advocate for Unity of Command 2, which is a really crunchy strategy tactics game that takes place specifically in World War II. And the first Unity of Command is, it looks complicated, but it's actually surprisingly approachable. It almost plays like a puzzle game. So I'm a big fan of 2x2 games, and I think this is, if you're looking for a good strategy game to play, I really like Unity of Command 2.
Yeah. Again, we do these on a weekly basis. That's why we just sort of pick bits and bobs here. There's a couple of ones here. I'm not putting you under pressure. It's just me talking here. I think there's a couple of day and date releases in here, but I don't think that has been confirmed yet. You can just look away or hide your screen here, because when I was going
I would have to try to remember, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
it's a lot to keep track of.
I was just, when I was grabbing the trailers earlier, I was just grabbing things, and it says coming like July the 11th or July the 28th. So I'm assuming these are going to be day and date releases. Two games I want to shout out here is Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. That's a big sort of hardcore sort of game. I know a lot of people were having difficulties in that way.
XCOM strategy meets really cool narrative and character design.
Yeah, the character design is absolutely amazing in it. And the other game as well is my favorite game of last year. I'm on record to say it may not be the greatest game which has actually been made, but it was the game I had the most fun on last year, and that is Zombie Army 4 Dead War. Absolutely brilliant. Just go there and just shoot things. And again, this is what I think a lot of people put too much faith into scores. This would not be for me a 5 out of 5 game, but it's absolutely fun as anything, and that is what the most important thing is.
Sure.
And I could just jump into that now and just have an absolute blast playing it. I'm going to talk about something here, which I do this in order. I've got the good news out. We got extra games this in June. Here's a bunch of them, and there was a couple of nice wee Brucey bonuses in there in Chivalry 2, which I know that is actually blowing up a bit.
It's so much fun. It is epic. And it's a great multiplayer game, but it's also ridiculous. You might have seen a video of someone getting a couple of kills in that game using a loaf of bread recently. That's the sort of like hijinks that you can get into in that game. Tripwire, like Chivalry 1 is fantastic. Tripwire always puts out really fun games. I can't remember the name of the developer of Chivalry 2, but I've been playing a bunch of this with some friends, and it's an absolute blast.
Yeah, and Lego Builder's Journey came with RTX as well. Absolutely,
so chill, so much fun to play.
Yeah, I think this was a brilliant get as well. Overcooked 2, and that was free in the Epic Games Store. I'm not allowed to play that with Kelly because I would get killed if I play that.
Yeah, it's called Divorce the Game.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I like my wife and I tried to play it once, and then we didn't speak for a couple hours. It was a thing. Yeah, but it's if you're down with that, if you're the type of person who likes to play diplomacy with friends, then this is the game for you. It is really good, but boy, like it's a relationship tester.
Yeah, that's one here I want to touch on in case you want to touch on any other ones. Is Power Wash Simulator.
That's the one I was going to mention.
Yes, it's one of them games where you could just sit and just. It's like my Farm Together. It'd be a game if you had a bad day, you just want to go and just have something to do just to take your mind off it.
I think a lot of people are going to sleep on Power Wash Simulator, and they really shouldn't. Like that's these kind of mundane simulator games have been a trend in PC gaming for a little bit, and I think a lot of like more what's the word I'm looking for? Like industry community people are like, oh, why would somebody play Bear Simulator? Why would somebody play PC Building Simulator? Who would ever want to power wash in a video game in their spare time? This game is how you like decompress after a long day at work. Like it's really good, and it's published by Square Enix. Like this isn't just some indie game necessarily. Like it's really good. I highly recommend it to people.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go on to some bit of negative news here. Just a couple of games didn't make it, which said we were going to make it in Sword and Fairy Free and the EX and Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Double Agent. Mm-hmm. And Population Zero is leaving as well.
Yeah, Population Zero is a game that unfortunately just isn't getting support from the people who made it. It's running into some issues, and so we're retiring it from the service because we don't want people to buy a game that isn't going to work for them. Some of the other games, I don't know if you and I have talked much about this, but we do a lot of the onboarding work for publishers and developers compared to other like services where maybe like the developer has to like specifically port a version of their game to a platform. We're working with the real PC versions. So we bring those games to the service. We do a lot of testing, that sort of thing. Sometimes in testing and making sure these games can get added, we just run into some blockers, whether it's a technical issue or maybe something has changed that where the game's gonna have to come out later on. And that's what this notice in the blog is about. Is that unfortunately we had said these games were going to make it in June. They didn't make it in June. We're still working on them in some cases. So hopefully we can get them onto the service later. But we want to be as like forthcoming and communicative to our community about it as possible. And that's the whole reason we have these blogs. Kind of the same reason why, you mentioned us talking about games coming later in the month. Like we want people to be excited about the games that are coming in the month, and we don't want to make them just have to tune in every single week to our blog. So we want to get that list out there to kind of celebrate them at the beginning.
Yeah, I think that move to the monthly sort of giving us a schedule is absolutely great, and we are starting to see other games give us like months in advance, like Guardians of the Galaxy. That is coming.
That one's gonna be really fun.
Then date to GFN. So there we go. We've got it from the horse's mouth themselves that the games are getting worked on, and the reasons why this has actually left as well. So, Cory, is there anything you want to say here before I run the video again? And
I just want to say thanks for letting me crash your show.
you're more than
I
happy.
saw you were running a solo show. I thought maybe it'd be fun to have some dork along with you that you could tease and make fun of for some of the games that I personally enjoy. Speaking for myself, not speaking. I'm speaking a little bit for NVIDIA here too, but like I really love the passion that everybody has around GeForce Now, around the PC games that they want to play. Seeing guys like you do these shows every single week, or engaging with your audience, or building these communities, like it means a lot to me. And so I want to personally just say thank you, and thank you to everybody who tuned in and is super excited to play games on GeForce Now this month.
I couldn't do it without the team in the backbone, which people.
Special shout out to Sammy and his wonderful game taste.
Yes, I could not. I could not do this without my team at Cloudy with like Cloudy Ben, Barry, Sammy, all the guys there, and I want to shout out the CGX cast as well. Do like Hair Monkey, Cloud Gaming
is great. Vet Gaming is great. Meg is great. Like this community of people who are really focused on cloud gaming and putting out great content. They're an absolute delight to work with. You're an absolute delight to work with. You guys make my job so much more fun.
This is what we try to do. We just try to make everybody have a bit of a laugh, and we've always got these big plans, and we just need support. And you guys are absolutely amazing with the support. So what I'll do is I'll put our wee video on again, and we will see you next week. And Cory, I can speak to you after this as well, after the video plays, if you want. Just have a wee.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for letting me crash.
I better click on the right thing here. So thanks, everybody, and see you next week. And this is the right one, I think. Oh, clicked it twice.